All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something you can't see, but it might be the single most important part of your website. We're talking about the invisible blueprint, that technical foundation that decides whether you get found online or just get lost in the noise. So let's start building. So let me guess, you've done it. You've built this absolutely stunning website. The design is slick, the content is killer, but there's this one huge, glaring problem. Nobody's visiting. It's a total ghost town, and you're just sitting there thinking, where is everyone? Trust me, it's a super common and incredibly frustrating place to be. And here's the kicker. The problem probably has nothing to do with your beautiful design. Nope, it's the part you can't even see, that invisible foundation. And this is where we enter the world of technical SEO. Think of it as the literal bedrock of your entire online presence. To make this super clear, let's think of your website as a house. All your design and content, that's the cool furniture, the fresh coat of paint. But if the foundation is cracked and the hallways are a confusing maze, nobody's going to stick around, right? Technical SEO, well, that's the essential stuff. The blueprint, the plumbing, the solid foundation that makes the entire house actually work. You know, every good construction project has to start with the foundation. So let's make sure your digital house is built on solid ground. So what makes a strong foundation online? Well, it really boils down to three things. First, high server uptime. Is your house even open for business? Second, fast load speed. How quickly can people actually get through the front door? And third, a secure connection, which is basically like having great locks that make your visitors feel safe and sound inside. And listen, the difference between a secure and an insecure site, it's night and day. An old, insecure HTTP site is like leaving your front door wide open. It just tanks user trust and your search rankings along with it. But a fast, secure HTTPS site, it does the exact opposite. It builds credibility, and search engines reward you for it. So let's be clear, HTTPS isn't a nice-to-have anymore. It's a must. Okay, with a solid foundation poured, it's time to look at the blueprint itself. How do people, and just as importantly, search engines, find their way around your site without getting totally lost? It all starts with your URLs. Think of them as the signs on each door in your house. And the rules for making them clear are actually really simple. Use keywords that make sense. Keep them short and sweet, use hyphens, and stick to lowercase. This kind of clarity helps both real people and Google know exactly what's behind each door. And once people are inside your house, they need hallways to get from room to room, right? Well, that's exactly what internal linking is. These links are the corridors connecting all your different pages. They guide visitors and search engine crawlers through your site, showing them how everything is related and helping them find all that great content you've created. Now, let's get into how you can actually communicate directly with the search engines that visit your site. You can literally give them instructions, kind of like a friendly doorman handing over a map of the building. The first tool for this is your XML sitemap. Just think of it as the official, detailed map of your entire house that you hand-deliver to search engines. It lists out every single important page you want them to find, making sure nothing valuable gets overlooked on their tour. But what about the places you don't want them to go? You know, the messy closets or the unfinished basement. That's where a file called robots.txt comes in. It's just like putting up staff-only or private signs on certain doors. It tells those crawlers which areas they should just skip entirely. You really have to think of these two files as a team. They work hand in hand. The sitemap provides the map, basically saying, hey, here's all the important stuff you should definitely see. And the robots.txt file sets the ground rules, saying, but please stay out of these private areas. Together, they create the perfect guided tour for search engines. So just like a real house, your website isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing. It needs regular inspections to make sure everything's still in working order. We can call this your digital health check. Okay, so whenever you try to enter a room on a website, the server sends back a little message, a status code. A 404 error, that's a bricked up doorway. The room is just gone. A 301 redirect is a helpful sign that points you to the room's new address. And a 503 error, that just means the whole house is temporarily shut down for repairs. Keeping tabs on these codes is critical. So how do you actually run one of these health checks? It's not as scary as it sounds. It's a pretty straightforward 4-step audit. First, you crawl the site to get a complete map of everything. Then, you check its speed to make sure there are no clogs in the plumbing. After that, you find and fix any broken links or dead ends. And finally, you finish up by testing all the security locks. This isn't a one-and-done fix, it's ongoing maintenance. So, we've covered the foundation, the blueprint, and the regular maintenance. Now let's zoom all the way out and see why all this invisible, technical work is just absolutely crucial for your success. You know, if there's only one thing you remember from all this, let it be this. Technical SEO is not just for robots, it's for people. Every single fix, making the site faster, making navigation clearer, making it more secure, it's all ultimately about creating a better, more trustworthy experience for the actual human beings visiting your site. The folks over at Upgrowth really put it perfectly. They said that when you handle these technical issues, you don't just increase your chances of ranking higher, you attract more visitors, and this is the most important part. You give them a way better experience once they get there. So when you get the technical stuff right, everything else just seems to fall into place. Search engines can actually understand your site, users feel safe, and they aren't left drumming their fingers waiting for things to load. Getting around is a breeze, and your credibility just skyrockets. That's the real power of a solid foundation. Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about for your own site. Is its invisible foundation built on solid stone, totally ready to support growth for years to come? Or is it a fragile house of cards, just waiting for the first strong gust of wind to knock the whole thing down?